Hey, it's Honda CB550 cycle. Today, I'm working on this mess. It's kind of temporarily hooked up, really temporarily, and it was testing this left control out, and so I hooked all of that up to get it testing out. Today, what I need to do is get my kill switch hooked up. It's over here somewhere. Get the kill switch hooked up on this side, run it through the tubes, and then wire this. So that's what I'm going to be working on right now. Let's get to it. There we go. I can't find the engine cutoff switch. It was over here. Oh, there it is. Right where I left it. So this needs to go here, and on this particular bike all the wiring goes through the handlebars. That's the way these controls are set up to feed it right into the handlebars. This had the engine cutoff switch on the top. It was not functioning the way it should have, and so I cut it. I probably shouldn't have cut it, but I did. And then I'm going to, so now I gotta pull that wiring out and run this through. So I'm going to flip these so that I can do that. Hey, 12 millimeter. Before I want to run any of these, I'm going to have to do this because handlebar needs flipped over so that I can get to it. I'm probably going to need to realign the wiring that comes out of the left hand control to get it so that it's going to work right. Okay, that moves. Unfortunately, it looks as though all of this has to go back through there because this and one of these, probably that one, are the wires that run off of the engine cutoff switch that I'm putting on. And I lost it again. These two wires, a black with a white trace and a black, and they all run through this case, so we're gonna have to pull that. That's not fun. Oh shoot. Might explain why the start button wasn't working very well. Looks like we needed a little as we go this way with it. Need a little rewiring on this side anyways. The start button, the bottom part of that right hand control that was on this, doesn't have anything in it. Well, that was easy. Easier said than done. Yeah, those are just kind of twisted together. Not surprising that it didn't work. This hard wire, or this hard case, is going to get cut off. I'm just going to run a couple of. I might actually have some heat shrink that will work, but this has got to come off because I got to fix this. This really is the home of 1,000 projects. You know what? That one's pretty dull. I don't want to hit any of that wiring with it, but I gotta get it started, so alright, we got her started. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is the way I'm gonna do it. Woo-hoo. And to think I was just going to crimp some wires together today, put some bullet connectors on there. Forgot I had all this to do. Glue. I think they glued it is what they did. Yeah, I would say that was some type of factory glue. Yes. Okay. These are the two. They're connected right here, and I snipped that end thinking that I might be able to run it another way, but it's not going to work, so. Can I pull this all the way out rather than slice it? Quite possibly. Let's snip this in. I guess let's do this. There we go. All right. This is the snipped engine cutoff switch. Wiring goes over there in the wiring bin. These I'm going to have to run these onto that connector. If you look on this particular one, the wires come right out this hole where there's a hole in the handlebars, and there's a locating pin. Right, I think this is the pin that is a locating pin that places it, and so it puts it right in the handlebars, which is where they need to go. That's why I have to run these with a handlebar that has a hole in it. That makes sense? Wow, that seems really short. And see how these are connected together? I don't know as though those are supposed to be connected together. They would be on separate wires, right? Yeah, because you have it's a momentary switch. So you have power up there all the time. When you hit it, it sends power out the other one. Now I have to figure these out. These are considerably shorter. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to solder these together because I don't have a lot of room in there. That makes me hopeful that this switch works, because it might not. Snip all of that. These, maybe not the best style. I have a pair that is newer than these, but I have had these for so long, and they just work. You know, you get those tools that you don't ever have to replace. You might find a good deal on them somewhere or something, but in the long run, you don't really need to do anything to replace them. They're good, right? That's these. These are old, worn out. And if you don't tell anybody, I'm pretty sure I got them when I was in the Air Force. Yes, I was in the Air Force. 1987 to 1991? 92. Yeah. Seems like longer than that. Probably should have stayed in the whole time. Made a career of it. I'd be better off today. Yeah, I'm going to solder these. Some people say there's no place in a wiring harness for solder because you can get a cold solder joint. And it looks like everything's good, but it doesn't actually function. But I'm only doing 3 wires, so I can check it easy enough. I don't want to do crimp-ons here because it's got to go into that handlebar. And I'm thinking that I can use these to hook it together. Last time I went to Harbor Freight, I picked this up. I don't remember if it was on sale or if I just thought, hey, that's a pretty good deal. Some people laugh at Harbor Freight, but I'm not a professional, so the stuff that I buy there, it works just fine. See if I can get this to flow in there. I don't want to heat it up enough to melt it. Could be the tip in the solder iron. Let's try something here. probably by the time I get this in and plugged up and warmed up, the other one will be warmed up enough to work. It's melting the flux. It's heating the flux, I guess is what it does. But it's not melting solder. Doesn't help that I just drank a Rockstar. Yeah, that's not wanting to melt my solder. Will this melt it? Been a lot of years since I soldered, and I will be honest, I was never great at it. I got an idea how to do it. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. Cool. And I forgot to put some heat shrink on that, so let's find some that might work on there. It'd probably be really good, but I probably can't get it up over here. So I screwed that one up. Will it go on there? Yeah. Just so that I don't forget to do it again, I'm going to do the other two. And I'm going to have to put a thicker one on this. Not thicker, but bigger. Which I don't really want to, but... Alright, I've got my heat shrink on those two. This one's got to be the thick one. Or the bigger one, because I didn't put it on there before I soldered it. Might be better anyways. I know you're supposed to use a gun on this, or a heat gun. I don't have one. I had one. I lent it out to someone. I never got it back. So I don't lend my tools out. I always used an iron, but that's mainly because we used to work on circuit boards. That one shrunk down really nice. I think those other two might be a little big, so turn that flux off. I'm going to unplug this one because it's not working. I think I just need a new tip on that one. Now you remember I said that it looked as if they had these two wound together, which to me doesn't make sense. You have a ground and you have a hot, and then you have a switch which puts the hot to the other line. I don't know why they wired these together. Like I said, I'm hopeful that this is all going to end up creating a good joint for that start switch, because it wasn't working the way it was, and a limited knowledge of how to actually do this correctly. I don't think that heat shrink that I have is going to go over that. No, it's not. I'll put the other stuff on it. See if I can get this to join together. Probably good enough. Yeah, ow. It's plenty warm. One more of those beauties. Maybe all set. I didn't like the way that one ended up joining. I'm going to try to get this one to work a little differently. Let's see. And then I'm actually going to test the switch the way I think it should work. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. Never a huge fan of the doors. That song's pretty cool. The Roadhouse song is really cool. I really like that one. When it comes to the doors. Boy, I wish I hadn't had that Rockstar. Might be a little more stable at this point. All that caffeine and taurine. So stinking tired today, though. Come on, melt in there. Not gonna say that's great, but it's done. I will say it's better than what was there, which was just twisted together. So I've at least improved upon that. Now, you have to remember also that in the bigger plan, the master plan of this particular bike, this is temporary. I'm gonna get one of those all-in-one units. I'm looking at one by Cyclotronics, and I'm looking to get one with the switches on it. So just a quick deal. Now let's test it and see if it works. Ohms. This one's all black, so we will. Maybe I can test it. Maybe I can't. Got nothing through that. I need about 2 more hands here. Okay. That is reading 0 ohms, which means this is, I don't know what to call it. When I hit the button, this one should go to 0. I gotta slide this over here. Jeez Louise, I need one of those with, I need this with clamps on it. Do that. Do that. Do that. Yes. Okay. I'm pretty sure you can't see what just happened because I'm using a wonderful 10-year-old camera. Works just like I thought it should. This is my ground, and this is constant power. Feeds power up here. When you hit the switch, it transfers power to this, which is what goes to the starter, or the starter solenoid in this case. And it should trip that starter solenoid and cause it to start. I'm glad I did this, because honestly, that was not happening. Not the way it was, for sure. And I wasn't sure if it was the switch or what it was. I knew this worked, but I didn't have that. Now, the beauty of the CB550 is that... Okay, that goes underneath there. The CB550 is wonderful in that it has a kickstart. So I wasn't overly concerned with that start switch. I don't know why this particular one is like stuck in there. Maybe it's the wrong one. Alright. So let's get that heat shrink, the Harbor Freight heat shrink tubing, run up this as best we can. This particular would be nice for having a heat gun, doing a big section like this. I don't even know if I can get all of that down there. I might have to do it in like 2 sections, because it's not looking like 5 wires are going to go in there. It might, but it's going through pretty hard. Almost through. I'm going to do it up here so you can see it. Move the hot solder iron over so that I don't experience that like I don't want to experience it. Let's leave that one on there. I don't think that's going to feed through is the problem. Definitely not. Let's see here. Let's get this run all the way up to the top. I can't believe I fixed something today. I've been off lately. I just have not. I don't know what it is. I've not felt like messing with this at all. Part of it's because I don't enjoy this. I'd rather be wrenching on something than running heat shrink together. It is what it is. Yeah, this would definitely be easier with the heat gun. I don't have a heat gun, but my wife does have a blow dryer, so we're going to try that because this is going to take forever. I'm going to heat this. I'm going to put probably another one at the bottom of this. I'm going to do this one together, and then it's all going back through the handlebars. I'll be right back. Alright, we have the Fashion hairdryer here. Fashionable heat gun. There's purple, chrome. It's a Remington blowout. It does not work as well as I thought it was going to. A little disappointed. Pattern. This is crazy crap here, man. So it's not working the way I wanted it to. This is just kind of melting it. What does that do? I didn't want to snip it off and not have the correct connector because I want to hook this up tonight. And I want to see if the start button works. If that's as far as I get tonight, I'll be good. Because I was told 5 minutes ago that dinner was ready, so. And I'm kind of hungry. Let's do that. Let's run just a bead around that. Secure it together. Every so often put a little tape on it to keep them together. Here. And then, of course, down here at the end, just so I can feed it through. Yeah, it might be about done for tonight, but I will definitely keep this video going. I'm hoping I get some time tomorrow to work on this. I want to get all of the connectors hooked up tomorrow so that I have a left hand and a right hand now that I know this one probably is going to work. Let's take this back over and run it through the handlebars, hook it up, and see if that start button works. There's a hole on the bottom of this where all of this has to go through. And the other thing I kind of want to make sure is that I'm positioning this correctly. So it's got to go that way. So I'm going to shove it this way. The other side I had to feed through, and it fed through pretty good. I was surprised. Kind of stuck on something right there. I think we're getting stuck up on that. Throttle tube. It'll be okay. I'm gonna wrap this a little. I wrapped those ends together just to feed this through. I think they were separating up there. Yeah. Feels much better. Ah, I found them. Shoot, I don't think I can grab them though. I'm gonna get some pliers. Come on. There we got it. Now this piece starts feeding through. See how that works. Oh, awesome. So even though this isn't really all that difficult to make happen, you can kind of see, at least in my opinion, why Honda quit doing this. Because can you imagine being on the assembly line and this was your job? What a pain in the butt it would be. I gotta go just a little bit more, buddy. There. Alright, we can manage, we can work with that. See this handlebar, the top triple clamp that this came off of, it's all open right there, so it all feeds right down. This particular one, they moved the ignition switch up here, which makes this a little more tricky to get everything through. I want to know, really, honestly, if that start button works. More than anything. Let's go over there. Just so they're not moving around on me. I'll probably be moved around again, but gosh, I do not like any of that. It's just super tight in there. Where were those wires? I had my black and my black white. And here, there's my black. That hooks into that one. And then this one I'm pretty sure was just a ground. But these all get hooked into something, so let's disconnect this particular piece of tape. Try to keep from slicing my fingers off. I already smashed my hand really good today. Was changing the tire on my Harley, had the back tire off, and the whole thing started to shift on the bike stand. And that bike's 800 pounds. You do not want it falling on you. And I think that I had the caliper loose and it kind of popped me right in the back of the hand. Man, does that hurt. The moment of truth is coming up, folks. Did I screw up the engine cutoff switch? Pretty sure this is just a ground. Does the start button work this time? We're about to find out. On. Start button's in the correct position. I get nothing there. Huh, maybe I didn't fix anything. Oh! I don't have this hooked up. Why not? Turn this off. This needs to be touching a ground. So maybe, just maybe, baby, for the sake of testing it tonight, let's try this. Does that work? I have a black wire here that I can run up to that. would have thought that would have worked. Just because I thought that it would work doesn't mean it will. This plug hooked up. Here. Oh no, that's not going to work right because I don't have this hooked up. So that's a futility. So let's just do this. This should just run to a ground. See if I got sparky spark. The engine cutoff switch works. My start button is still not working correctly. Okay, I'm going to let this sit. I'm going to go sleep on this. I'm going to get some dinner. I'm going to relax a little bit tonight. I'm going to sleep on it and come back out tomorrow and we'll start plugging stuff in and getting this together and this where it should go and everything hooked up where it should. The engine cutoff switch is functioning, which is the most important. Unfortunately, this is not. And I can check it again, see if maybe something came apart when I was running it. Maybe I just don't have it hooked to the correct wires, but there's only 2 wires here. So maybe there's something over here not working. Anyways, I'll get to that tomorrow. I will be back. Hey, can't see ya. Well, I'm back. Day 2 of working on this, doing some of the wiring. Yesterday we got the wiring ran through the handlebar tubes. We figured out that the engine cutoff switch does work, but the starter button's not working. What I want to do is test down here with voltages, see what has voltage on it, what doesn't. And then I will test the switch again in the method that I did before to see if it's doing what I think that it should be doing. Make sure something didn't get unplugged or disturbed. And then I'm going to hook up all the wiring. This stuff that's just kind of twisted together and everything, I gotta make it better. So let's test that switch first. Set it on 12 volts. That's a ground, right? And turn that up. I decided that this does not have a voltage on it like I thought it would. This one does have voltage. Okay. So the orange with the red trace has voltage, which is backwards of what I thought. It doesn't appear to be doing what I had thought that it was going to be doing. Let's bring it to the actual switch itself. It was weird. I have voltage on this, which in my opinion I should not have. Test it this way. Yeah, I got 9 volts on that. And then on this one, which is what I thought I would have voltage on, I don't have any voltage on it. So, okay. Move her down to ohms. Ohm. Static position. The black red trace has 0 ohms. Let's see if I can hold this. The switch itself is working. It's the wiring that's not. Big surprise there, huh? Okay. Like I said yesterday, I'm not overly concerned with it. It has a kickstart. I haven't even looked at anything beyond about here. I've been focused on this. Alright, so let's get these hooked up into the ones that they're supposed to be hooked up into. Turn that off. Okay. What I'm going to do to clean this up just a little bit, since I can't really test with the bike up here, I can't turn the handlebars and see what's going to stretch. So I'm going to give it a little bit, and then I'm going to tape some stuff together of what I have done so far. And trying to straighten this out is the reason I'm doing this. because this is such a mess. Trying to make some sense of it. I don't understand how I went that route. I'm plugging everything right back in where it was because it was working where it was. And then this coming down here. God, this is such a mess. I wish I knew what it was really supposed to look like. I don't know where that's supposed to go. It looks non-factory to me, but I could be wrong. I'm going to tape this because it's kind of a loose joint, and it's my engine cutoff switch, and if that ain't hooked up, it don't work. So I'm going to tape it to hold it together because it's not very tight. I pulled my start wires back just to try to expose the rest of this stuff. There's a lot of wires not hooked up anywhere, which is really kind of concerning. Yeah. Okay. Because they all gotta go somewhere, right? Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Huh. Well, let's do this then. I didn't go with the cheapy crampons. I found some at Napa that I liked. They fill up the factory Honda female bullet connector very well. This is my engine cutoff. That one does not come apart. Wonderful. I have it plugged in very securely, and I need it to go on the other side of that line. Grr. Grr. Ah, let's do this. We just wouldn't have to. It would work the way it is, but I don't like it. I want that one there. Again, this tape is, it's not meant to be any type of permanent thing. I'm kind of taping them out of the way as I get them working, I'm hoping. Let's see what else needs hooked up. How did I decide that one went to gray? There's a white one right there. That one's plugged. Oh, those are front. Gotcha. But my front ones were working, I thought. Maybe they weren't. They're hooked up. Great. Now I don't have any blinks. Make me want to cry. I had all of this working. The horn works. There. See, I don't have any front bulb, and I don't have a back bulb on this side. But let me see what it does to switch this to this. It appears as though it works best in here. Ouch. Yeah, that's where it has to be. I have a white here that I bet goes into there. Okay, so I'm going to run this up there. I'm going to run this up there. So I have two more bullets coming off of there. I think those are, I don't know what they are. And I'm not seeing anywhere in the rest of this mess that color combo. I have a green one here, and I have this one here. Let's see if hooking those two up. I can check that, I suppose. This socket doesn't have a bulb in it. Blinking. Oh, it's really dim back here, but it's blinking both sides. Okay, I got blinkers both sides. I got a horn. The one thing I didn't have yet was a headlight. Let's see if I have a headlight now. Maybe those 2 extra wires gave me a headlight. I do not have headlight. This is a green, white, blue. This is blue, this is white. This is my green, but it's got to hook to something somewhere. Here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to tape this scraggly mess down. Get it taped down. I'm going to leave the ones that I don't have connected out for sure. Very accessible. And everything else gets taped down onto the harness in some form. I'm going to zip tie this one because it's right over some connectors. It would be easier to undo a zip tie, I think. Changed my mind. I got thinking about it. If something acts up while I'm out riding and I don't have something to cut that zip tie with, I can always peel tape, right? And I think a zip tie would be better, but and I'm going to try not to go over any, oh wow, that is not big enough. I'm going to try not to go over any connectors as much as possible. See, that's already come undone. We're going zip ties. The temperature has warmed up significantly outside, and it's making it easier to get some heat going in here, and I'll be honest, I'm quite warm today. Well, thanks for hanging along this far in the video. I lost the last little bit of this. The file was corrupted. Whatever happened in the world of digitalness. It didn't come through. Anyways, just kind of wanted to wrap up what I got done here and where I'm going from here. So essentially I got this all snugged up, tie wrapped together, and I'm going to have to get it secured to the frame once I figure out where the tank is going to go. I got these loose ends out here that I still am not sure where they're at. So what I was working on is complete. All of my controls still function as they did before I started putting everything together. In the future, this next part, I'm going to be putting the front end, the light on the front end, the controls on the front end. I'm going to come back here and see if I can't figure out why I'm not getting any juice going down to the battery when I hit that start button. I also have to get power to the light, the headlight, some type of headlight functioning on it. So that's where I'm going to go next, but for this video, this is done right here. Like I said, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully you get a little bit of entertainment value along with this. You're watching it because you like old Japanese motorcycles. I loved old Japanese motorcycles. That's why I like working on them, and that's why I like bringing this along to you. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and if you're out riding, ride safe.